The Junior League of Toronto building at 539 Mount Pleasant Road in Toronto was generously purchased by members on April 30th, 1956. Purchasing the building was a major milestone for the League. We certainly all hold many treasured memories at the building, full of fun, friendship, and community service.
We have been in this building for a long time, and it really is a landmark for us.
The initial purpose of the building was to house the Opportunity Shop, which was one of the League's longest ongoing fundraisers. We have all enjoyed many special moments at the League office that we will forever cherish in our hearts. As the needs of JLT evolved, the building was sold on May 31st, 2022. With change comes new opportunities, and we are excited to see what the future holds for the Junior League of Toronto. We will continue to create a lasting impact in our communities.
Always the energy that I could feel walking in here. There was always activity and people chatting and
laughter.
Hugs and laughter.
Yeah.
Joy. There was always joy in the space, always joy and laughter.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember.
I spent a good part of my life in this place.
I can't say it holds a great many energies. I mean, it's the people in them that hold the energy, not the building so much. Yeah.
We've been opening doors through time.
Memories of past meetings and friendships that we had up here, and lots of fun.
Where does my eye go when I first look around? It's probably at the portraits of past presidents, because that's a connection.
Faces on the wall, I thought, I remember her and some of the accomplishments she had made to the League.
It was very nostalgic for me, and seeing the pictures of the past presidents on the wall, most of whom I knew, it was emotional. Yes, it was, but it was comforting.
You know,
Yes.
where you did a pose.
Yes, that's But isn't that nice? Mm-hmm. Dibs Rind, I remember her.
My eyes are always drawn to the president's photos.
Always.
Always. It's just because these are the women who have made the organization what it is, and without our history, we wouldn't be sitting here today. Mm-hmm. It's almost like reverence. I pay reverence to them when I walk in.
I just remember that was the year that my husband and I were adopting our first baby, and Kathy organized this little surprise baby shower at a board meeting for me at the very end of this room, and I just those memories are, you treasure them for life.
Since 1926, this organization has dedicated its energy to the improvement of the community through effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. Members have contributed millions of volunteer hours and more than $4 million in support of over 400 community programs and projects. The Junior League is committed to training volunteers in board governance, fundraising, marketing, communications, and administrative guidance so that they can well serve a community organization of choice.
What I love about the League is that it's not like working, let's say, for blood services, right? And you're just doing one thing in one area of volunteers, and there's so many different opportunities. And we also change our focus group. Every 5 to 10 years, we look at what the needs are in the community and whether there's a gap that we might be able to help fill or help other groups facilitate.
Junior League women just do, and they put their hands up, and they're not afraid to do something, and they're always willing to meet somebody new.
We really walk the talk. We really and truly embrace the mission of the organization.
Typically, we would start a project where there was a need, and ideally, the idea was the community would take over the project. So we'd hope to have things underway, for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then the community, if the need was still there, would take on that organization or that project that we initiated.
The Junior League of Toronto, and actually, as you mentioned, it is an international organization, is really a basis of training individuals to become members of the community and help in the community, and perhaps in their own life or office experience, how to become a leader.
it doesn't matter if you're the president or the vice president, we're all leaders because we are able to build relationships and, getting to know people on an intimate level. And just like what you said, it's not just about, people volunteering, it's about people caring about people and understanding people's lives.
I think I started to listen more in my leadership because with the Junior League, there is so much support when you're a leader. And there are so many different things and different perspectives from members. There was a lot of listening, and I wanted to make sure I heard everybody's voice, and I wanted to make sure that I captured all the different perspectives.
When I joined in the late 70s, early 80s, it was, as Deborah said, 20-year-olds who were, at home with kids very often, looking to commit to community and learn how to be a community leader. And now I think a lot of those people have experiences. And people who join are much more diverse in age and experience and culture than they used to be.
The League was a savior in one sense, as they introduced me to the community. It introduced me to some fabulous women who taught me so much. Mm-hmm. And I have learned so much in the last 20-some years that I've belonged.
You very soon meet a lot of people, and some of them, and many of them, actually are lifelong friends.
Absolutely. The friendship, I think, was one of the best parts. The past president, Margie Patterson, was one, and Janet McGinnis, who's still sustaining, I still call ourselves sustaining members because we are.
Well, we're still sustaining.
And we'll be sustaining forever.
Closest friends are in the League itself, but my family, they know if they ask me to do something and I say, oh no, it's a League night, or I'm off to a League event, etc. Nobody questions it anymore. They know it's such an integral part of my life.
I still feel that today, and I wake up and I think, well, what am I going to do today that is of importance, that will help somebody else?
These are some of my best friends are Leaguers. Mm-hmm. Because you do so much together once you're involved in it. I mean, I've been to several leagues now. New York, Boston, North Carolina, Montreal, and I've had a community of friends right away who have mostly the same interests as I have, and I can join them, go to meetings, go to dinners, lunches, community work.
I'd like to speak about Joan Crocker, who was a very close friend, mentored me for many years, and even though we were the same age, there's a picture of her. She was very kind and very intelligent. As a result of our volunteer relationship initially with the League, I ended up working with her at the Legislative Assembly of Ontario.
Each year when you did whatever, it was written down in longhand, in cursive.
That's when I think we found the old PDC cards. And that's where they kept your history of what you had done through the League.
The Junior League gives out awards to people who have done some service, that they're being recognized.
I did a lot of the archiving in those big cabinets behind you and keeping tabs on people. I initiated the 25 and 50-year awards, membership awards.
But there have been, I would say, hundreds of letters.
Yes.
And also we've been presented with awards in the past. There's definitely lots of gratitude.
It is my pleasure to send greetings to the Junior League of Toronto, JLT, and all those celebrating its 80th anniversary.
I was going to mention Pat Mackay. She has great respect throughout all our organization. She is also an honorary member. We only have a few honorary members. Tomorrow at our awards meeting and celebration, we're giving out the Pat Mackay Award in honor of her. But she was such an inspiration. She served on so many boards in the city. And that's sort of, she's a great example of how what we want to train our members to be, to go out as civic leaders and to take the skills that they learn and develop in the League and apply them to other organizations within the communities.
The training was extraordinary. Because it wasn't just you need to be trained in this. It was engaging, to the sense that you know how you can use it in your life. You know how you can use it at work. You know how you can use it in your personal life, with your family, your friends, because it was just so in-depth and so well done and presented. And I went on to other organizations. Because of the training I got in the Junior League, I was just so much more effective and a lot more efficient. I think this organization is tops in board governance. It really set you up to be a civic leader out in the community. Like, once you leave this organization, you're set because you have learned so much. When you're at the Junior League and you're speaking, you don't feel as if you're being judged. You just stand up, be whoever you are, but eventually you become better at presenting yourself. People are actually listening to what you have to say, and you're better able to create a dialogue. And we're training women to go out there in the world and make a difference. Personally, professionally, doing volunteer work.
She was an amazing role model and really demonstrated the importance of volunteering, which I think is hugely important. And I think amazing to have women out there in the community doing great things for people.
I liked committee work. I loved working on the designer showcases, which we did. We had several of those and made a lot of money, maybe $300,000 or $400,000, perhaps more. And that opened us up to the community and told the community what the Junior League was.
Well, 2 show houses, one in 2004 and one in 2009. So those were probably, each one took 3 years to plan and execute, or 4 years.
4 years, that's...
2009 was the last one, and in 2000, so that was the first 10 years of 2000, would be those 2 show homes, because the need for volunteers was massive, and we had to affiliate and cooperate with other organizations in order to bring up the volunteers needed for the 3 weeks of the show house.
And I've said to my children, as we think about moving to retirement homes and so on, I'm going to take 2 cookbooks with me only. And one is the Junior League book. And we did have a cottage, and I had the Junior League cookbook up there as well. So I had 2 copies.
My main project that I worked as a sustainer with the actives on was the Tea to Help Teens. And that's where we would have a huge English type tea once a year, and people were asked to come, pay for the tea, but also we would have, one time we filled old-fashioned teacups and saucers with candies, and we sold those. And we made a lot of money, and we supported many teenagers in various homes where they were living at the time.
But some of the smaller organizations that I volunteered with, I think it was called Reading Together, and it was in St. Jamestown. And I went in every second Saturday, and I played with kids between the ages of I think 5 to 10. Like, we were had to make Play-Doh, we had a reading circle, we played games with them, and I'm like, I'm having fun, but I'm not quite sure what impact this is having on the community. And then the organization's leader came in and spoke to us, and she said, first of all, these kids, they're all ESL homes, so they're spending 3 hours with you speaking English. Secondly, their parents, mostly their mothers, have no opportunity to get away and leave their kids in a safe environment where they can go do their errands or go visit with their own friends.
The League has done historically is we would go into the community and look for a need and do the research, and then that project would be presented to the membership. And while we were happy to give money towards these projects, we also required that the projects involve a number of our members in significant volunteer positions and leadership positions.
And the year after Hurricane Katrina, the Junior League of New Orleans put out a call saying that they were going to have a weekend to building restoration, cleanup, etc. And they put the call out to the wider organization, Mexico, England, Canada, and obviously the US. And they thought they'd get about 50 people, and 500 people signed up for it. And to me, that just exemplifies the Junior Leagues. It was an unbelievable weekend.
New Directions, I think it's one of the most incredible programs that the League started.
And the focus of the pathways is for kids who live in marginalized areas, and we were focused on Regent Park, which was the old Regent Park, where there were no high schools in Regent Park. They would get bused to different places, and what would happen is if they're marginalized, so the parents not enough money, they need money to go to work and for food. Now the Junior League of Toronto, we were the one who actually put that on the map because we made the largest donation to Pathways to Education. And I remember when the students, the first set of students, when they graduated, their average was higher in Regent Park than the city area combined, which just goes to show it's not the lack of being smart, it's just the lack of access to things.
With the focus on youth and self-esteem and mental health, it's allowed us to explore a totally new focus area, human sex trafficking, combating it.
That's good.
Right.
And that's been hugely educational for our members, and I think that's a great opportunity for our current focus area to carry us forward into the future.
We've done amazing training over the past 2 years on diversity, equity, inclusion, training that I never received at work, conversations that were never had. So I feel that when I go into other organizations, I feel equipped to listen. I feel like I have more confidence, that I'm starting to understand, and so it helps me have better conversations outside the League. It was another defining moment, I think, for me personally and for the League. Several weeks before I took on presidency, George Floyd was murdered. And I called Cecile and I said, Cecile, I don't know anything about this and I really don't know what to do. Can you come to the town hall? Can you support me? And just like past presidents, when there's a call to action, past presidents step up and thank you very much. And
so she asked me to train leaders how to lead with an ABR lens, an anti-Black racism lens. And a lot of corporation wasn't so open for discussion as the Junior League was.
It was a very emotional conversation. It was a new conversation for us. And the outcome of that was that we set up an ad hoc committee to do work on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And that ad hoc committee is now a regular placement, a regular committee, and we are now looking at everything we do for the Junior League with a diverse lens. So I think that was very pivotal in terms of how we as an organization start to evolve from the image of pearls, from the image of whiteness, the image and to being more representative of our community.
An organization for women committed to their communities definitely has a spot. I think we've had to change a lot. It used to be a training organization, so members would come in and learn about civic leadership, about governance, and about being on a board and move forward into the community. It's sort of a stepping stone.
Well, the year before I was president, we went through a big process where we investigated how to split the board into a management team and an actual board. So one doing the day-to-day activities and the other one looking at the big picture, strategic thinking, blue sky. And so I had been on that committee, and then all of a sudden I was the incoming president. So I had to make sure that got rolled out and that was implemented, and I was going, what have I gotten myself into? I believed in the change. The League is always evolving and responding to times, etc. So I thought it was a great decision, but then all of a sudden I was there having to steer this massive change in the League.
Because in a way the League was quite cohesive and a large number of people involved, but it was quite cohesive because we had one place that we gathered, as our committees and so forth. And then it starts to split up because there are a lot of people from the west end of the city, and there are a lot of people from the north end of the city.
We changed the structure of the League that year. There were a lot of big debates, and it was most challenging year I've probably ever had. And I called on a past president, Joyce, who came to my house at the last minute and talked through, how do you manage change? How do you manage this process? And I think it worked all right, but she was amazingly helpful to me, and I'll never forget that.
We want people to know what the Junior League of Toronto is all about.
We've been around for a very long time. We're coming up to 100 years. How many other organizations within the city of Toronto can make that claim? And each year, we have more and more women that grow out as civic leaders.
Mm-hmm. And I would hope that things like that would continue.
I am sure that we will be able to continue for the next 100 years.
It is the younger ones coming up that will be the influencers because they're different. They're different from we are. And we are different from the ones who started it as well. So coming up, they will be the change. And the one after them will be even a bigger change.
There are new members coming all the time.
Day to day, how do we care for, nurture, support, empower one another? How do we make sure every member's getting the most out of their membership?
The building is not what makes the Junior League. It's the people who create the memories, and that impacts a community.
For me, it's an end, but it's also a really great beginning.
We look forward to what the future holds as we embark on this next chapter.
There's a huge amount of history here.